Hi, it's Hans Lösglimt. It's June 2nd, 2009, and here are some of the comments on what's going on right now. The markets are continuing to rally, and as we've said, it surprises us the strength in the rally and the length of the rally, and it's been feeding on itself for some time now. So it's impossible to say really when it's going to turn around, because when it feeds on itself, it becomes a frenzy. And people are catch-up buying and want to, go in as much as possible to participate in a total different kind of mindset from what we had just a couple of months ago. So maybe we'll see the rally go on for, quite some time. I don't know, but I've been advising to sell. Anyone who's still long in regular equities should get out of this market in this boom. And maybe you won't get out at the very peak, maybe you won't, whatever the peak is. But we're much higher now than we were at the bottoms, and I believe we'll see new bottoms before this thing is over. Because this recession / depression is different. It's not your regular recession like what we've seen in the lifetime of most economists that live today, and analysts and journalists. This is different, because we have seen the fundamentals of how the system is built being rocked. We've seen the Federal Reserve, especially in the US, printing money, monetizing debt now, and vastly increasing the monetary base. So it's a paradigm shift, and a paradigm shift will not just go back to where it used to be in a few months or less than a year. A paradigm shift will require some major changes in the capital structure of how the economy is built up. And you can ask yourself, the rally that's going on right now, if that is induced by people actually believing that things will get better and companies will make more money, unemployment will go down, or if it's driven by inflationary expectations, so that just the numbers will be bigger. If there's a lot of inflation, the stock market is booming. Even in Zimbabwe, the stock market is doing great. It looks like it on the percentage-wise on paper, because the inflation is so rampant, everything is going to the sky nominally. But in real terms, of course, it's not happening. So it's still a call. I believe it's a change of sentiment, and it's a change of we were so far down, and when people kind of realize that the world is not going to end, and people saw that the governments are pumping all this new money in, they gained some new confidence, and the confidence started building upon other people's confidence, and sort of a confidence forward-moving wave that builds on itself. And that will, of course, end when reality catches up with what's going on, because we've seen unemployment rising drastically, and industrial production in Germany and Japan is way down. It's in the US, unemployment will rise, people will start saving money. The change in the capital structure will need to happen. All the malls in the US are going to be shut down and eventually turned into something else. And this is a process that will take many years to go through, and in the meantime there's going to be a lot of trouble and a lot of tension and friction in this process, and that's what a recession really is. And a very strong recession is a depression, and that's what we foresee now. And of course, the government taking over General Motors and turning it into Government Motors is just symptomatic of the kind of changes that are necessary. Of course, the government going in and taking over is not the solution. It's really creating more problems. But GM was so big and large, so the government and Obama, he said, we have to do this. But all the millions of small enterprises that are facing the same kind of trouble, they are not being bailed out because it's just not possible. There are too many. And what should have happened to GM, of course, would be a bankruptcy, and then the capital would be used differently. There would be a bankruptcy proceeding where some would buy, parts of it to make electrical cars, some would buy parts of it to turn into factories to do completely different stuff, and some parts would be just closed down. And the net result of that, of course, would be green shoots. That would be something new. That would be something new to hope for, like when a forest burns down, then before you know it, some new green shoots of green plants come up. But what they're doing by bailing out GM is that they're just preserving the old overbrush and the old forest that really would have been much better just cleaned off so that you could have new growth and new life coming up. This process is going to take a lot of time. And of course, the money that the government is putting into GM it's lost, and it's just going to be a huge waste, the whole way. And so government bureaucrats are going to decide what kind of cars that the market are going to demand in 5 years from now. It's a recipe for disaster, and everybody understands this. But the political process right now, the real politics, the realpolitik, to use that term, demands that government does something, because these 92,000 workers in GM that would have been, at least some of them would have been out of work. They vote, and they have families that vote, and they demand that the politicians do something, even though it's just a waste, and it's a stupid way to use taxpayers' money and the future taxpayers' money, and of course also Chinese savings that they're going to inflate away eventually. So the real solution is to let the market clean itself out and allow these green shoots. But the bailing out of GM is symptomatic to what I'm trying to say in the time issue, because this will take time. So, if GM had been able to go bankrupt, and the bankruptcy procedure would have taken 6 months maybe, and then everything would have been sold off, and the green shoots would have started coming up. Now instead, the government owns GM. So they're putting in a lot of money now. They will be putting in a lot of money again and again and again, and it will just drag out the process. Eventually, GM is going to, close down, or it's a doomed company. It's a doomed concept. The whole idea of these supermassive big cars is doomed, and whatever they're going to try to do on more fuel efficient cars is doomed from the beginning, because the government doesn't get anything right. So the whole thing is going to change eventually. The capital structure is going to change. But now maybe it'll take 5 years, or 10 years, or 15 years. It's exactly the same as the government did in the 30s, when they went in and started manipulating with the market forces. So they're doing this again. And that's one of the things that tells me that this is not going to be over in like 6 months or 12 months or any kind of short-term time frame that the stock market can discount now and produce a rally on. So this rally is way premature, way premature. We have to see the capital structure change and to see these things go into effect before we can believe in new growth that's sustainable and that's real. And what we've seen now is that the financial financial industry needs to be restructured. Now the car industry needs to be restructured. Next up now is real estate, commercial real estate in the U.S. That has to collapse and be restructured in new and more dynamic ways that are fit for the future. And this will take years. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years. And it will take years even in the best of times. And with the Obama administration and governments all over the place going in and manipulating it, it will take even longer. So we'll see a new drop. When that comes is impossible to say, but I believe it might come very soon. Summer, fall of 2009, and then we'll see new lows. Gold, of course, is now approaching $1,000, and we've been advising to buy gold for a long time, and we still do so. Buy gold, sell the stocks.